Bandung 2 presents the After Dark Debates.
Critical discussions on contemporary issues.
It seems that we've thus far we've tied up two elements now, and we seem to be zooming in on hard now on the whole classification language issue. That it seems to bottom out in that, and that's very interesting because if we reach the consensus that the Quran is the criterion, well, what is the Quran if not words, if not language? So everything now seems to be, as it were, doing tawaf around the issue of language. That seems to be the fundamental issue. Any further thoughts on this? I mean, the thoughts that came to mind when I heard the issue being raised about takfir, and then the issue of taghut was raised as well. And Brother Abdullah made a very kind of solid point there about not getting into that game, the classification game, whereby one takes on the God-given power of classification. I mean, I think this is a really interesting point that in the Quran, Allah Ta'ala says that He taught Adam the classification, the names. Whereas the Bible gives two different versions. One saying God taught Adam the names of things. Another saying God allowed Adam to go around naming. Now one is centered on Allah, and the other one is centered on the human being. Now, to connect back to your earlier point right at the outset, Abdul Karim, about Greco-Roman and Hellenistic civilization and its impact on Islam, one of the famous Greek philosophers, Protagoras, said, man is the measure of all things. Now, the point you made, Abdullah, was that the Quran sets the measures, which means that Allah is al-Qadir. He's the one who sets down the taqdir and the qudra and the miqdar for everything. And yet the human being, whoever that human being is, has arrogated that right to him or herself to classify, to label, to pigeonhole. And it finds its manifestation in the Islamic field, theologically, in the takfir game. Now, just to connect to the point you made about the whole issue of somebody could be mu'min, they could become kafir, then they become mu'min. This is mentioned explicitly in the Quran, that there are people who are going to just waver backwards and forwards. And Allah Ta'ala does not say you are empowered to make takfir on this person, as it were, to reify them, hyperstatize, and say, you are now kafir, you can now be liquidated for this crime, or you're an apostate, a murtad, or something of this sort. And thereby the had can be applied, you can be executed. There's nothing in the Quran that allows for this whatsoever. In fact, the Quran says that you leave it to Allah to deal with this person. Now, just to follow up on this point and to conclude on this, it's really very interesting that the manifestation of Taghut in the Quran is Fir'aun. And yet Musa alayhi salam, Moses, was told by Allah, and these words are in the Quran, "Idhab ila Fir'aun," go to Fir'aun, "innahu tagha," for sure he is one who has gone beyond the limits, he's become a tyrant. And then it goes on to say, and say to him, do you not wish to purify yourself? Nowhere was Musa told, strap some Semtex, or like get your 9mm primed and oiled and go and take Pharaoh out. No assassinations, no kind of old man of the mountain Ismaili Hashashin style maneuvers here. No, a direct engagement with a tyrant. In contemporary language, we might say if the global system today is white supremacy, it's the equivalent of saying to the white supremacists, don't you want to leave this and come to justice? Don't you want to abandon this taghut system? Because you still have that element of humanity left in you, because it's given by Allah. I mean, we as human beings, we might be so full of emotion and anger and rage at the oppression that people have faced that we might want to take that humanity away from them. But Allah has given it even to the white supremacists. And so surely the mission that we're empowered with here is to take this message out to the Taghut as well as to everyone else, and to call them to justice.